Okay, so today I'm presenting on the genocide in Sudan, specifically the conflict in Darfur, which began in 2003 and is still affecting people today. This topic connects directly into Chapter Nine's discussions of racism, ethnic conflict, and social inequality. Ethnic groups involved in how ethnicity was socially constructed. In Darfur, the groups began persecuted were primary non-Arabic Black African ethnic groups, including the Fur, Masalit, and Zaghawa, I think is how you pronounce it. The dominant group was the Arab-identified Sudanese government, along with the militia known as the Janjaweed. Even though these groups share religion, which is mostly Islam, ethnicity in Sudan was socially constructed around ideas of Arab versus African, with Arab identity being associated with the political power, land ownership, and superiority. The racialized hierarchy was reinforced by government policies and decades of discrimination, making these ethnic categories socially and politically significant. Why these groups were in conflict. The conflict emerged from a combination of historic inequalities, racial discrimination, political marginalization, and competition for land and resources. The dominant group felt entitled to use violence because they viewed African ethnic groups as inferior and believed they were protecting Arab political control. Environmental pressures like drought and desertification also intensified competition for land, fueling ethnic resentment. Is ethnic cleansing an appropriate term? I'd say yes, ethnic cleansing absolutely applies to Darfur. The Sudanese government in Janjaweed systematically targeted African ethnic groups with the goal of removing them from their land, destroying their villages, and eliminating their presence. Um, Duration, impacts, deaths, and crimes committed. The genocide began in 2003, and its impacts continue today. At least 300,000 people were killed, and over 2.5 million were displaced. Criminal actions included mass murder, systematic rape used as a weapon of war, torture, burning of villages, poisoning wells, and starvation. Other social conflict patterns. Several patterns from Chapter 9 appear clearly in Darfur. Segregation. African ethnic groups were excluded from political and economic power. Expulsion, millions were forced from their homes in the refugee camps. Genocide, the dominant group attempted to eliminate African ethnic groups. Internal colonialism, Arab elites controlled land, resources, and political institutions while African groups were marginalized. Acculturation pressures, African groups were pressured to adopt Arab identity to gain access to resources. Migration and displacement. The genocide caused one of the largest refugee crises in the world. Over 2.5 million people fled their homes. Many escaped to neighboring countries such as Chad, while others were relocated through international refugee programs to countries including the United States, Canada, and Australia, and several European nations. Um, Global safety net organizations and international response. Several global organizations responded, including the United Nations, African Union, International Criminal Court, and Doctors Without Borders, UNHCR, and the Red Cross. Most significant takeaway from this is how racial and ethnic identities were weaponized to justify mass murder. The genocide in Darfur shows how dangerous it is when governments use racism, propaganda, and inequality to dehumanize entire groups. It also highlights how weak international intervention can be when Political interests outweigh human rights. So that's it. Thank you for listening.